This is 1963. From deep in the canyon aisles of the supermarket comes what sounds like a small-scale bus wreck, followed by an air raid. If you follow the running box boy armed with a mop and broom, you'll come across a young father, his 3-year-old son, an upturned shopping cart, and a good part of the pickle juice all on the heap of the floor. The child who is not hurt sits in a small lake of the pickle juice and is experiencing what might nicely be described as significant fluid loss. Tears mixed with mucus from a runny nose, mixed with blood from a small forehead abrasion, and saliva drooling from a wide open mouth that's making a noise that would drive a dog under a bed. The father, he's remained amazingly quiet as he's still in the face of the catastrophe. The reason he's so calm is because he's thinking about running away from home. Thinking about just quietly turning and walking away since nobody there knows that it's his kid. Getting into the car, driving to California maybe, changing his name, getting a job as a paperboy or a cook in an all-night diner. Something, anything, that doesn't involve contact with 3-year-olds. And oh sure, he might find all this amusing one day, but from the deep and most private part of his heart, he's sorry that he married. Sorry that he had children. Sorry that he grew up. And above all, sorry that this particular son cannot be traded in for a model that works. And he cannot, will not say these things to anybody, ever. But they're there, and they're not funny. Later, the father sits with the sobbing child in his arms and waits for him to fall asleep. He takes him home and brings him to his crib and tucks him in. He watches the child for quite some time. He does not run away.
This is 1976. The same father paces around in his living room. In his hand is what's left of a letter, crumpled and uncrumpled again. The letter is from his 16-year-old son, the same son from the pickle juice, the pride of his father's eye, or was until today's event. The tables have turned. Now it is the son who is running away from home. He says that he hates his father and wishes he never had him. He says the father is a jerk, a jackass, and a failure as a parent, and ends with, "You can kiss my ass and drop dead." The father is shouting at the ceiling, "Why me? Why me? Why me?" The answer is simple. He has a son. The son is 16. Shit happens. Someday, some long day from now, you may laugh at this. But until then, there is only English.
This is 1988. Same father, same son, and they are still running. Out jogging at 6 a.m. The son is 28 now, married with his own 3-year-old child. The father is 50. As the father and son cross the busy street, the son looks both ways with his hand on his father's elbow to hold him back from the dangers of oncoming traffic. You can hear them laugh as they run on up the hill into the morning, and as they sprint toward home, the son does not run ahead, but runs alongside his father at his father's pace. They love each other a lot. You can see that. They've been through a lot together, so they work to take care of their life.
Oh, there will be times when they'll be mad at each other again.
There will be times where they love each other again.
But one of their favorite stories will always be Once Upon a Time in a Supermarket. There are little clues that my life is entering a new stage. All my children are beginning to look middle-aged, and they pat me a lot, in a very patronizing manner for no apparent reason. I'm not going to ask them why they pat me. I'll take all the affection I can get from them in any way they're willing to dish it out. But another sign of change is a sudden desire to take smaller children on excursions. My granddaughter, Sarah, and I went on an adventure that sounds like the title of a B-grade children's storybook. Grandfather and granddaughter go to the zoo. First time. And we saw the lions, the tigers, the elephants, the giraffes, the kangaroos, the bears, the apes, all the rest. Every single last living creature the zoo had to offer, and well, maybe even some possible dead ones. But for all my... Oh, Sarah, look at that. What Sarah was most interested in were pigeons that hung around the concession stand. What Sarah liked most about the pigeons was that she could almost touch them, but not quite. No matter how carefully, cautiously, or quietly she approached, the pigeons always managed to stay one small step further out of reach. The space between Sarah and the pigeons moved in concert, and she spent most of our time at the zoo trying to close this distance. All the other animals at the zoo were over there, behind bars or glass or moats, in another world. But the pigeons, they were over here, in her world, and they would be made even more real if she could just get her hands on them. Well, Sarah, what would you do with it if you ever actually caught a pigeon? She didn't know. Possession was not in the plan, just reaching for the pigeons was all that really mattered to her. Driving home in a thunderstorm, Sarah fell asleep in the car seat behind me, and sitting in her parents' driveway, I stared at her face for a long time and wondered, who is this child? I want to know her. Now that I am older and wiser, have the time and patience I never had as a father, I will approach Sarah as she approaches the pigeons. Carefully, cautiously, quietly. And I will wonder as she does how one can be so close, yet so forever far away at the same time. Sarah is not mine, and she never will be. There are 2 people in this world who think of her as their daughter, and 4 people in this world who think of her as their granddaughter, but Sarah belongs only to herself. There will always be this moving space between us, this untraversable distance that must be treated with respect. But just as Sarah doesn't know what she'd do if she ever actually caught a pigeon, I don't think I know what I'd do if I ever actually caught Sarah. To love something and to possess it are not the same thing.
What do you do? Your basic cocktail conversation, fill in the blank, marked occupation.
Courteous way demanding details of your social standing.
Describe your daily life.
Say what you're paid to do.
I know who you are.
And how to deal with you. When I ask people what they do, I usually get a little piece of stiff paper like this. It summarizes their identity. Name, company, title, address, lots and lots of numbers. Phone, telex, email, beeper, and fax. A business card. I debated for a long time about getting one for myself. So, what do you do?
A lady gave me her business card, not too bad to know. It says she's vice president for systems analysis at Unicode. I said, okay, but what is it you
other day my wife had said, sometimes you're a real prince, and you know what? I've been feeling princey ever since. The clerk couldn't handle it. We had a friendly argument about a whole discussion of this matter. Is my occupation what I get paid money for? Or is it something richer and deeper? More about what I am, or what I think about myself?
A job title doesn't even come close to answering the question, what do you do? Marcel Duchamp, a sculptor and painter who was a fixture in the world of fine art in the period before 1940, was equally frustrated by the implications of the standard what do you do inquiry. He would answer, I am a respiratoire, a breather. He explained that he did more breathing than anything else, and was very, very good at it too. After that, most people were afraid to ask him what else he did. I know. We can't go around handing out 200-page descriptions of our lives every time somebody asks what we do. But a job is not the same as a life. What if we use the word occupation to mean whatever makes us feel happy or useful to the human endeavor? Making a living and having a life are not the same thing. Living the good life and living a good life are not the same thing.
So, what do you do?
What I do is literally how I spend my time. In my life, I figure I've spent 2,500 hours brushing my teeth.
30,000 hours in traffic.
35,000 hours eating